If you're here after the first video, you may already feel something shifting. Not urgency, not pressure, just clarity. And maybe a quiet question forming underneath it all. If boundaries aren't about explaining or convincing, then what do real boundaries actually look like? Let's slow down and sit with that together. When most people picture boundaries, they imagine words, strong words, clear words, the right words. They imagine finally saying the thing that makes the other person understand. But with narcissists, boundaries are rarely about what you say. They're about what you do. And that shift can feel unsettling at first, because many survivors were conditioned to believe that silence is dangerous, that leaving without explaining is wrong, that clarity must always be verbal. So when someone suggests that a boundary might look quiet, or subtle, or even invisible, it can feel confusing or uncomfortable. That's normal. Here's something important to gently notice. Real boundaries with narcissists are often unremarkable. They don't come with speeches. They don't announce themselves. They don't demand agreement. They simply change your behavior. A real boundary might look like this. You notice the tone shifting, and you end the conversation. Not angrily, not dramatically, just calmly. It might look like responding less, sharing less, explaining less. It might look like leaving the room, ending the call, or choosing not to engage at all. And you don't explain why. That last part is often the hardest, because explanations feel safer. They feel polite. They feel fair. But with narcissists, explanations often don't create understanding. They create leverage. If you've ever explained a boundary and felt it used against you later, your words twisted, your feelings minimized, your intent questioned, that wasn't a communication failure. That was a pattern. Here's a gentle truth that many survivors need time to absorb. You are not required to explain your self-protection to someone who has repeatedly harmed you. You are allowed to choose distance without providing a justification. This is where guilt often shows up. You might think, am I being cold? Am I shutting down? Am I becoming someone I don't want to be? Let's pause there, because there's a difference between being cruel and being contained, between shutting down and pulling your energy back. Boundaries are not punishments. They are containers. A boundary doesn't say, you're bad. It says, this doesn't work for me, and you don't need permission for that. Another important shift happens here. You stop trying to make your boundary understood, and you start letting it be felt through consistency. You don't argue, you don't debate, you don't convince, you simply follow through. This can feel deeply uncomfortable at first, especially if you were taught that being good meant being accommodating. So if you notice yourself wanting to explain one more time, or soften it, or make sure they don't misunderstand, gently ask yourself, am I protecting my peace or protecting their comfort? That question alone can be grounding. Real boundaries with narcissists often feel anticlimactic. No big reaction, no emotional release, just space, and sometimes silence. And that can feel strange when chaos was once familiar. If you feel tempted to fill that space with explanations, remind yourself, your boundary is not something you say once, it's something you live, quietly, repeatedly, without drama. And yes, people may notice. They may say you've changed, that you're distant, that you're different. But growth often looks like withdrawal to people who benefited from your overgiving. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It means the dynamic is shifting. If you're listening to this and feeling both relief and fear, that makes sense. Relief because this feels simpler. Fear because it means letting go of old patterns. You don't have to rush that. Boundaries are not about becoming someone else. They're about coming back to yourself. In the next video, we'll talk about something many survivors experience next. That moment when you are setting boundaries, but you still feel exhausted, still tense, still emotionally drained, and what that exhaustion is trying to tell you. If this resonates, stay with me. You're doing this at your own pace, and that matters. If you're noticing how different boundaries feel when they're quiet instead of explained, take a moment with that. And when you're ready, the next video talks about what it means when boundaries still feel exhausting and why that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. If these videos feel grounding or help you feel less alone, you're welcome to subscribe. This space is meant to move at your pace, not rush your healing.